Hi, today I will be showing you how to do ankle strengthening like a ballet dancer. You will need a resistance band. This is the Bunheads brand. I think this one's heavy. It might be extra heavy, I'm not sure. Resistance bands made for your feet should be the ones that we're using. The ones that you buy in like a sporting goods store a lot of times are made for upper body, so make sure that it is one designed for ankle strengthening. So we're going to work both legs starting individually. I'm going to straighten my leg, and then we're putting the band around the ball of the foot, and there's extra around your toes. Turn sideways a little bit. So I want to make sure that my leg is directly in line with my hip joint, and I'm going to pull back on the band. Make sure you have enough around the ball of your foot or it will snap off the top of your foot. Make sure that we have enough slack around the top of your toes so they don't come out the top. I'm pulling back and then stretching through my ankle and then through my toes. Relax the toes and flex the ankle. So I'm going nice and slow through the foot. So this would be like our demi points, full point, flex and flex. So going point the ankle, point the toes, flex and flex. This isn't something I'm trying to do super fast. I want to slowly work on my alignment, watching the line from the inside of the hip through the inside of the knee to the inside of the big toe. We should have a nice straight line. I want to make sure that I'm not letting my ankle come in or wing it out on this. I'm just working a perfectly parallel position. I go through nice and slow, doing like 8 to 16, depending on how long it takes my ankle to feel warm. You should feel this all the way up the leg. I especially feel it in my calves and a little bit in my quad. You can see that my heel's lifted because I'm engaging as much as I can through my quad to have the straightest leg possible while I'm doing these. Heel on the floor is also completely fine. You don't want to force your heel up. My leg just naturally wants to go to that position. And then once I feel warm here, I will point through and I'm going to drag my band to the inside towards my other leg and then place my other foot on it. Now my band will naturally pull my ankle in. My knee is still straight up to the ceiling and then my leg is still in line. And then I'm gonna work against the band, sending my foot out so that we're working on strengthening the outside of your ankle. A lot of people sprain their ankles because of internal rotation like this, so strengthening the outside will also aid in injury prevention. So I'm going nice and slow. Don't let the band snap you back in. We want to resist on the way in. Press out and resist on the way in. I always tell my dancers to be mindful of their posture here too, so that anytime we're working through the feet, our upper body is getting used to working at the same time. 7 and 8. Then I'll hold at the end and just do little pulses. Push it out a little further, working that wing out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I do work in the sickle position as well. So leg crosses over the other, pushes that band down, and now I'm working that internal strength. I feel a lot of this through my arch. We're still sitting nice and tall, not letting the band snap us out. Really slow and controlled. I'm trying to keep my ankle stretched the whole time so that I'm not doing these like windshield wiper with my toes up. I'm sweeping down towards the floor, thinking big toe down towards the floor the whole time. And then I'll hold that last one and then do little pulses in, and these ones really work the arch. 6, 7, 8. And then I just like to do like a quick little check and see if there's a difference in my point, and there definitely is because this foot's nice and warm. And then I just switch sides. So trying to remember the number that you did on each side. That's why we want to decide if we're doing 8 or 16, and then same thing on the other side. Double checking my alignment here, making sure that the knee and the hip and the big toe are all in line. Resisting on the way in here as well so that we don't let the band pull us back or do the work for us. This is my stronger leg, so I need to come down the band a little bit to give me a little extra tension. You can always adjust how much tension you have in your band by moving your hands up or down it. I think I did 12 on the other side. This is 10 and 11 and 12. I'm gonna pull that in. So my foot, my knee is still straight, but my ankle's at full internal rotation as much as my body has. This one I kind of leave my heel towards the floor a little bit more. It's still engaged and barely lifted. This is 5, 6, resisting in, 7, hold the 8, the weight pulls out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I really feel the outside of the calf getting nice and warm. And then other side, so my ankle is externally rotated, knee is still up to the ceiling, and I use the outside of this calf to kind of just support the leg a little bit so that my thigh doesn't feel like it wants to roll all over. And then we're peeling in, away from the band. 5, 6. The hardest part of this, I think, is just keeping the thigh still. So your adductor, your internal thighs are going to be working a little bit. Then we pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Now I'm going to do both feet in the band at the same time to work in a flexed position. I'm coming here. And then this one I think is a little easier if I cross like this. Heels together, my toes are up to the ceiling. I'm keeping my heels together and I'm just working from the ankles themselves. Like a little bit more tension. So my ankles are staying kind of still and I'm just working, my knees are staying still and my ankles are working to separate apart from each other, just working that wing. It's not a huge range of motion. We're just kind of warming up those rotators. And then feet parallel still. I'll go all the way through my feet together. My band's a little too high, so it's probably gonna snap back. Probably have to adjust your band a lot when you're first doing these. I feel like I could never find the perfect place for my band on the first try. Same thing as before, just working both feet together. 7. And on the 8th one, I hold the ankles and do just the toes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my ankles are staying nice and stretched. Just the toes are working here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now to strengthen the base of the foot, we call these caterpillars or inchworms. Not sure if there's a technical name for them. You're gonna lay your band out. It doesn't have to be flat, completely flat and perfect. And you're just gonna grab with your toes to try to pull your whole band in. It's not gonna like go perfectly under your foot, and that's okay. And then we do the other foot. Sometimes the band just gets a little too like bulky under my foot and I can't get more of it in. You can also do a similar exercise with marbles. If you have a jar of marbles, if you dump them all out on the floor and then kind of pick them up with your foot like one by one and put them in the jar, it does a similar workout for all of those little muscles in the sole of the foot. There you go. And then for dexterity and those little muscles for the toes themselves, we do piano toes. So I have my kids sit in like a tuck position, or my students, and then we're gonna lift all 10 toes and we're gonna do big toes down, and then this is the harder way, then you're gonna try to do one toe at a time all the way to pinky toes, but then peeling up is easier. We go big toe up and then one toe up at a time, and then pinky toe down, then fourth, third, second, big toe, and then I think this one's the hardest. Pinky toe up, all 5 or all 4 come up and then down. So we go down and then up, up and then down, this way. And this really helps warm up all those teeny tiny muscles underneath the toes where they join with the ball of the foot. And then once my feet feel warm, we roll them out. So take a ball. This one is, I think the brand is just Rubs, yeah, RUBZ, and it's very hard, like a lacrosse ball. And it has these little spikes on it. So we'll go through the big toe, through to the heel. I'm really gentle on my heel, but pretty intense pressure through the arch. Big toe, and then I do like my next two toes, like your second and third toe to the heel, and then pinky toe. So we're getting the outside. This is normally where my feet are actually the most sore, towards the external line of the arch. Then from the arch, I go back and forth just across the midfoot in the arch. And then you're gonna curl your toes around the ball and then lift your heel. So we're kind of pressing those toes back a little bit. Loosen up any tension there. And then on the heel, super gently, just little circles around in a circle. And then we switch sides. Go big toe to heel. I normally go back and forth like 8 times in each spot. And then mid foot. So second and third toe to heel. And then pinky to heel outside of the foot. And then the arch, back and forth. And then your heel, little circles. Now I see a lot of ankle strengthening or ankle flexibility videos that are really hard on the ankle. So my favorite stretch for, whoops, I lost my little foamy. My favorite stretch for the fronts of my ankles is to just put my feet, there we go, on a blanket so that my whole foot is supported on the blanket. I think about my heels staying together so I'm not rotating. And then I just gently lean back like this to stretch the fronts of my ankles. You don't even need to lift your feet, really. You can just come back if this feels like a big enough stretch. This is mostly quads for me. So I gently lean back. We never want to force it. You're just kind of getting into that position. A lot of tips online will have you kind of standing up on your toes, which I'm not going to demonstrate because it's not good for your feet, but you don't need to be applying a ton of pressure to the top of your feet and your full body weight to stretch the ankle. Use your hands to support you so that we're reaching back. If this is a good enough stretch for you, great, stay there. You can also go one at a time this way, but for sure a towel or a blanket or like fold over a yoga mat a few times if you want a little extra support and squish so that you're not just ramming your very delicate foot bones into the floor. So gentle back and forth. And you don't need more than like 30 seconds in that stretch. 30 seconds is plenty. And then when you stand up, you should feel like your mobility has improved, that your feet are nice and warm, and that the bottoms of your feet are relaxed.